In this video, I'm going to teach you the 4 easiest ways to wind your yo-yo up. Now this video is meant to be paired with another video we're making about the fastest ways to wind your yo-yo up. And if you put the 2 videos together, what we're doing is we're starting with the easiest but the slowest way to wind your yo-yo up and moving to the fastest but the most difficult. Now I'm assuming that if you're here, that's because you're a new player, maybe you got your first yo-yo, and you just can't get the thing to wind up. So, like an intelligent person, you went to YouTube or yoyotricks.com, you searched for the answer, and you found this video. Nice work on that. So, if you want to wind your yo-yo up, typically the way people start is they just start doing the normal wind up. But the problem is that a lot of new yo-yos, like the Fizz yo-yo, even though this one is made for a beginner, it has a ball bearing on the inside. Now those ball bearings allow the yo-yo to sleep for a very, very long time, which is what allows you to do their tricks, but it can make learning how to wind the yo-yo up at the beginning a little bit more difficult until you learn the tricks that I'm going to teach you in this video. So the first thing that you want to do if you're going to wind a yo-yo up and the string is slipping around the axle is you need to find some way to interfere with that so that it won't slip out of the groove. And the best way to do that is to just take your opposite hand and to grab one half of the yo-yo. Make sure all your fingers don't go over the whole yo-yo. Just grab half of it. And what you want to see how the string is twisting like this? I'm going to get to why that's happening and teach you a way to deal with that too. So what you want to do is you want to take your first finger on your opposite hand and just lay it over top of the whole yo-yo because you want to wind right over that finger one time so that it's kind of gripped in there. And then what you want to do is lift it up just enough so that you can wind under that finger 3 or 4 times. Now if you pull your finger out and you don't pull too hard, you'll notice that the string is not going to slip. If you pull really hard, it'll probably still come out. So don't pull too hard, and then you can just wind that loop right back into the yo-yo. Now you might think that that has caused a knot, but actually if you throw your yo-yo one time, it just comes right back out, and then when you pull your yo-yo back up, it'll wind up perfectly, and then you won't have that loop in there anymore. So that's the first and the easiest way to wind it up, but that can be pretty tedious, and one of the things that I already pointed out is that that can cause your string to get really twisted like this. Now, if your string is very, very twisted, the easiest way to get that out is to just take the string off your finger, hold the yo-yo, and pull the string down, and watch. When you let the string go, it just untwists like this. And then when it's all done, you can wind the yo-yo right back up. As long as it's not on your finger, it's not going to add any more twists to the string, so you don't need to worry about that. Now the other 3 techniques I'm going to teach you in this video, they don't have that same problem, so you don't need to worry about that if you learn these other techniques. So the second technique is called the trapeze wind-up technique, and that's because it is very similar to the trick, the man on the flying trapeze, but in this one the yo-yo's not spinning. We're going to use it to get the yo-yo back. So what you want to do is you want to take the yo-yo and hold it in the same hand as your yo-yo string is attached to your finger. And then you want to put your first finger on your opposite hand. You want to come from the front and put it in between the string coming from your yo-yo finger and the yo-yo, and just split the string apart just like this. Now what you want to do is you want to take the yo-yo, and this can be a little bit tricky at first, so don't get frustrated if this part is kind of throwing you off. But you want to take the yo-yo and set it right onto the string coming off of your yo-yo finger. And then if you were to just let the yo-yo go right now, it would just fall right off. So what you want to do is you want to lift your opposite hand and then bring your yo-yo hand just above the yo-yo, and you can see that the yo-yo is sitting right onto this trapeze mount just like this. Now what you want to do is you want to pinch the string up here, and you're going to change the height of your hands, and you can see that that actually wound half of the yo-yo string into the yo-yo. And what you can do with the rest of the string is you can just continue to wind it up if you want to do that. Now another thing you can do when you get better at this is if you kind of slowly build momentum as you're bringing the yo-yo up. So you start slow but just get faster and faster and faster. You can actually toss the yo-yo and the string up in the air, and the yo-yo will be spinning, and so there's a chance that you will be able to get the yo-yo to wind all the way up and right into your hand. You see, I didn't quite get it that time. But with a little bit of technique, some practice, you can get the yo-yo to wind all the way up, and then you don't need to wrap the string around the yo-yo, which will cause a couple of twists in the string, not as many as the first technique. Now the third technique, this is where things start to get even faster. This one, you could call it we call it the walk the dog wind up, but if you don't want to get it mixed up with walk the dog, you could call it the drag the dog technique. Not everybody will love that name, so you'll have to make a personal decision in your life what you want to call it. But it's actually pretty straightforward. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the yo-yo, and what you want to do is you want to set it right next to your foot, just like this, and you want it to be lined up the same direction that you want to walk. You need a little bit of space in front of you, just like this, and you are just going to pull the yo-yo straight, and then you're going to come down and you want to grab the yo-yo as the string winds up. Now, the first time you try this, the string probably isn't going to wind up, and that's because there is a little bit of technique to get this to work. Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to get the yo-yo moving pretty quickly. You know, not super fast, you don't have to run, but you do want to be walking a little bit. And as soon as the yo-yo starts moving at a good pace, then what you need to do is you need to lower your hand toward the yo-yo. And it's that lowering of your hand that allows the string to start winding into the yo-yo. If you just keep your hand at the same height the whole time, the yo-yo will never wind up. And so don't forget that key, make sure you lower your hand just a little bit. Now the second thing that will happen to a lot of people is the yo-yo will only wind about halfway up, and that's because they didn't get the yo-yo moving fast enough at the beginning, and this actually causes a second problem, because if the yo-yo stops and the string is not completely wound into the gap of the yo-yo, you can't get it started again. In fact, if you try to get the yo-yo moving again the same direction, it will just unwind the string, which is obviously very irritating. So the key to this is get it moving pretty quickly at first, and then once it's moving quickly, then start to lower your hand and keep walking with the yo-yo until the yo-yo winds all the way up, and you can just pick it up off the ground. Now it should go without saying, but I've seen a lot of people make this mistake. You have to move the yo-yo one direction. Some people, I don't know if they feel like they get a little bit of momentum and then they pull it back the other way. You can't move it both ways, okay? You just have to move it in one direction. As soon as you start pulling it the other way, if you wound any string into it, it's going to unwind. If the string was moving quickly, it's got to stop before it can start spinning the other way. I don't know, some people don't want to move their feet, so they just go back and forth. Terrible idea. Just move one direction, give yourself some space, get the yo-yo moving, slowly move your hand toward the yo-yo. And this one is a pretty fast, very easy way to get the yo-yo to wind up. Now just a heads up, this technique will not work for unresponsive yo-yos. Most metal yo-yos are unresponsive yo-yos, but there are some plastic yo-yos that play this way. These are yo-yos that are designed to not come back up when you pull on them, so you can do more advanced tricks. To get one of these yo-yos to come back, you will need to perform a bind, and we do have another video that teaches you how to do that. But this technique, as well as the next technique in this video, will not work on unresponsive yo-yos. So at this point, we recommend that you just skip ahead, go to the second video about fast ways to wind your yo-yo up, and that will teach you all the other ways to quickly wind your unresponsive yo-yo. Now the last technique is called the foot stomp technique. And that's because what a lot of people do is they actually stomp on their yo-yo to get it spinning, and it does work pretty well. But there's actually a way to do this where you don't have to stomp on your yo-yo, you don't have to grind your yo-yo into the ground, and it works, it still works pretty well, and it's pretty fast. So what you want to do is set your yo-yo on the ground, similar to how we did in the previous technique, except instead of laying it right next to your shoe, what you want is for the yo-yo to be right in front of you, and you want to put your shoe right over the yo-yo, and just barely touching the yo-yo or just above it. So you'll see that my hand is right here because the yo-yo's on the ground. And what you're going to do is you are going to pull straight up, maybe even a little bit towards yourself, because that'll pull it into the shoe even more, which will cause a little bit more friction, cause the yo-yo to wind up. And you can see that the string winds right up. Now, like I said, a lot of people call this the foot stomp technique because what they do is they actually stomp on the yo-yo once they get it into position. That can cause the yo-yo to rotate, and then you can pull the yo-yo up, and that allows the yo-yo to come back. But the thing is, you don't even need to stomp. As long as your foot is in the right position and you pull your hand back and towards you, that will get enough spin on the yo-yo, and then all you need to do is position your hand directly under the yo-yo with your palm up, and the yo-yo will just roll right down into your hand. Now, like I said, this is probably the most difficult of these easy techniques, because when you pull up, if you don't pull up straight, if you pull up to the side or a little bit out of control, your yo-yo will move that way. So make sure that you pull straight up towards yourself. The harder you pull, obviously, the faster the yo-yo will spin. You're going to have to find a balance so it doesn't go too high. Just work on it. It's a little bit difficult, but you'll find that that one is pretty impressive, especially if people have never seen yo-yoing. They'll really like that technique. So try each of these in order. As you learn them, the faster you can get your yo-yo to wind up, the more fun it's going to be to learn tricks. So those are your easy ways to wind up your yo-yo. Well, yeah, I guess if you really wanted to, I suppose you could, get it spinning and then just perform a bind, and that's not too bad. It doesn't really seem to fit the spirit, of the trick. I know this one could probably work too. Just get it going, and oh, that one actually worked really good.